Hello, my darlings. That's me back again. Right, okay. I may have thought that I could just like talk to things and they would interact with me, but it turns out that I'm wrong and that I've completely walked past what I'm supposed to do for this quest. I talked to this person before, but I thought they were something, but then I thought, oh, it didn't prompt anything. But it turns out I had to do something next to them. Yeah, I thought this one was like the one that was the one I had to talk to earlier. But it didn't say anything. But what I had to do was this. I've been waiting for you, Elita. Here, my master bade me give you this key. To go so far as to disguise himself as a woman, it shows how much he wanted to meet you in person. Anyway, I've played my part, so I'll return to my training. Enjoy the rest of the game. Now this other one, I was so close. I was on the right track, I just didn't say the right phrase. But why would saying golden key mean anything? Or just golden even? Like, no, I have to be more thinking about what the squirrel wants, not what I want. And it has to not be in it has to not be in capitals either. Well done, my friend. From the tales I heard about you, I expected you to find me in short order, and you did. Heard from who, you ask? Oh, just a man I admire. It was due to his influence that I decided to train under the same master. What joy to see him again after all these years. My disguise I chose because I felt it'd be a good match for him. Quite convincing, don't you think? Ah, but before I forget, here's your key. I'll let you get back to the game, but when you have a moment, I'd love to hear more of your tales. And now I can finally complete this quest. Of course you have 2 keyholes. Like I see 1 keyhole. They're all on the same keyhole. The keys unlock the box, which you open up to reveal your gift along with another letter. Dear Elita, allow me to congratulate you for solving the riddles. As promised, the gift is yours to take. A long time ago, Master Louisoix left a little troublemaker in my care. At his behest, I taught the boy everything I knew in the ways of survival and infiltration. After years away from these shores, the boy has returned a man. By the set of his face alone, 'tis plain he matured greatly. A product of the time with the Scions, I do not doubt. I thank you for being there for him, and ask that you continue to do so. Lastly, I ask that you forgive me for not saying this directly. In spite of myself, I've never been good at expressing heartfelt sentiments in person. Hence this letter. The manner of its delivery, at the very least, I wish to make interesting, and I hope you derived some enjoyment from it. A glistening stone-encrusted chest that suggests a valuable accessory lies within. I feel kind of cheated. I was expecting something far more interesting. Onwards to Labyrinthos. There's 3 quests over here and a bunch of quests over here. Let's do these 3 first, shall we? Oh, 'tis you. Rest assured, all is well here. Slowly but surely we work to restore normalcy in the wake of the Exodus. There is much to be done, to discuss and decide, but 'tis a labour to cherish, afforded to us by your victory. Once again, permit me to express my gratitude for your valorous deeds, not only as a member of the Forum, but simply as a parent. As much as they have grown and proven themselves, I ask that you continue watching over my children. See that they do not engage in anything needlessly reckless. I fear my heart cannot take much more. Tatasako appears to be deep in thought as he cranes his neck upward towards the infinite cosmos. We have staved off calamity, rendering our initial plans of escape rather pointless. Nevertheless, the vastness of space has not lost its intrigue indeed. The lunar surface is a land that yet captivates many of us, and some, such as myself, hope to one day journey there. Aye, we may soon find ourselves pioneering that rugged hitherto unknown terrain, and to do that, we must prepare, and prepare well. As I understand it, you have first-hand experience with that vast emptiness. Perhaps then you would be willing to lend us a hand. If you are able, I would ask that you slay a centaur Anilla, and from its carcass retrieve for us its core. So, what say you? Can you help us? You will? That is heartening news. On behalf of those who will someday step bravely into that barren, unforgiving land, I thank you. To think that a person such as you has walked into the untravelled grounds of the lunar surface. It's a marvel indeed. I hope that one day very soon we shall follow in your footsteps, literally. Marvine is thinking long and hard about how best to acquire what she needs. Why, hello there. Let me guess. You're an adventurer. A mercenary for hire? Willing to stand against any beast, so long as the reward is commensurate? Well then, I've a job for you and a prize to match. I'm in need of 2 rather unique crystals, which can be obtained from somas, ice giants of fierce repute. You'll find the frigid fiends lumbering about southeast of here, so if you wouldn't mind, bring me the crystals I've asked for, and you'll have your reward. Should be easy enough work for you, I imagine. You seem like the sort of woman who has seen a fair share of scrapes. Asasamu seems quite invested in this particular wall. Behold my masterwork! Each and every record stored within this wall, organized by title, color, and finally odor. None shall ever struggle to find the resources they seek in the system. Now, if only my colleagues were so scrupulous. Alas, I find myself missing several items from the catalogue that ought to be filed here with the rest of the documentation for the Altioscope and our moon-bound vessel. Will you aid me in completing my magnum opus by locating them? You will need to search the archives for 2 parts of a manuscript entitled The Altioscope, a Historical Lens. Do not count on their both being in the same place. And the Starfaring Ark construction records. I do not mind if you stop to read them. Thalek knows you will find them enlightening, so long as you return them by the time I have finished scent checking this last row. Achoo! Pardon me. The titles you are looking for are The Altioscope, a Historical Lens 1, The Altioscope, a Historical Lens 2, and Starfaring Ark construction records. Oh, where are these? So that is elevation. I'm totally not seeing these. Knowledge of the events Heidelin foretold had the potential to shatter world order. Thus did the Forum elect to construct a means more secure than the Anti-Tower for future exchange with her, beneath the nation's very foundations. Excavation of labyrinths began in secret. Thence did we locate the veil between physical and ethereal, and construct a finely attuned lens by which to penetrate it, the Altioscope. Perhaps the greatest secret our forebears uncovered was that of the requisite conditions for conversing with the will of the star. First, the individual acting as intermediary must be possessed of the rare ability to hear her voice. Additionally, they must position themselves in the liminal space between physical and ethereal. Use of the facility known as the Altioscope has granted us both the wisdom and determination to solidify our plans and covet construction of the Ark that will transport us to the heavens has begun. The Allegan Empire built similar starfaring vessels, notably the Lesser Moon, Delamud, as well as its Ragnarok-class intermediate Hawks and Heimdall-class surveillance satellite. Theirs was the most technologically advanced civilization in recorded history, and we fully intend to utilize any knowledge we can glean of their techniques to the utmost. I do love the smell of aging parchment in the morning. Did you find the documents? The first part of manuscript regarding the construction of the Charlene's great device for peering into the ethereal sea. The second part of the same thing, an account of the process for building Charlene's starship. Truth be told, I am surprised you found all three in this mess of an archive. Surprised, yet grateful. As I presume you will have read, 'tis only through momentous efforts by our predecessors that we stand here today. I am honoured to have seen their legacy to fruition. Yet to ensure the chronicles of these deeds are accessible is no less important a task. Indeed, now they are no longer confidential, I am certain that historians and laymen alike can benefit from the perspectives they provide. That is why every record must be kept in its proper place, and thanks to you, they will be. I have to decline because I am not a class that gets experience. That's better. What you and your companions have accomplished is simply unprecedented. Needless to say, your deeds will go down in history. core brutally ripped out the centre of a centre and another. You cannot think of how such a thing would be used in space travel, but you are not being paid to think. Given the Soma's frigid physique, it is somewhat difficult to distinguish between the parts that are ice crystals and those that are merely ice. You've returned, and far sooner than I had anticipated. So tell me, have you the core for which I asked? Well done. With this we shall be one step closer to the fruition of our plan. All thanks to you, of course. The Lopries claim that not all of the lunar surface can support life as we understand it. Rather, only certain pockets can be considered hospitable, such as southern Mare Lamatorium. If we are to explore beyond the reaches of said safe areas, we will need a method by which we can survive those inimical wastelands for more than a few paltry moments. Fortunately, we are researching one such method as we speak. It involves the storage of air, which is sadly absent up there, compressed in a wearable device that can purify the air expelled by its owner. The core you brought us will be a central component in its development. It will take some time before our research comes to anything, but rest assured we will see it done. And once we have, you will have the honour of knowing that you've assisted in making history. But since that's hardly helpful for you now, here, a reward for your efforts. You have delivered us from the ends of days, which leaves me now with one thing to do. Make ready for life on the moon. Still in one piece, are you? Very good. Now, have you the crystals? Yes, exactly what I was looking for. Excellent work. I see that glint in your eyes. You wish to know how I mean to use them, don't you? Then allow me to satisfy your curiosity. As you know, Kokol and his fellow fools have seen fit to amplify fire-aspected ether using the reactor. Abnormal heat signals have been detected in a proportion of the ether conductor running beneath our feet. These ice crystals can counteract these undue temperature spikes by forcibly cooling the affected areas. But enough about me and my woes. You have more than earned your reward, adventurer. Should I need any assistance in the future, I will be sure to call upon you and your expertise. To think an adventurer such as yourself saved our skins. What a vaunted occupation you hold, one which mine could never hold a candle to. Time to pick up all these quests over here. I have slight anxiety looking at them all. Sian has a favour to ask. It's Elita, isn't it? I was about to head for Couple's Forge to drop something off, but I think you'd be more welcome than I. As it turns out, the recipient is something of an admirer of yours. I'm sure she'd be thrilled to have you make the delivery. Thank you. Here's the package, all set to be delivered to Watson Dye. Dye is waiting for a delivery at Kukov's Forge. I wish I could see the look on her face when she realizes it's you. Doing some of these deeper voices hurts my throat a little. Charmouth's eyes have a faraway look about them, as if he's thinking great thoughts. What luck! You're just the gallant sort I was in search for. You see, I've whipped up an experimental new tincture, one that brings low a certain type of fiend. I had hoped a brave adventurer might test its efficacy for me in the field. And since you're here, perhaps you could fill that role. Good. Now then, about the solution of mine. With the help of some gleaners, I've crafted a concoction that can incinerate even the hardest of seed casings, allowing one to make quick work of the beasts. Or so my hypothesis goes, anyway. Alas, my genius remains untested and thus unproven, which is where you come in. One so well versed in the ways of war should have no trouble at all verifying the tincture's efficacy, I should think. Based on the information I've ascertained, an oversized Birkenin can be found wandering around the west of Logican's Beta. Douse that sadistic seedkin in my newest nostrum and bash it into a bloody pulp for me, would you? What wonders I'm capable of confecting? Well, I suppose we don't know as of yet whether this particular experiment of mine is a wonder, though I can hardly imagine anything is but. A concentrated chef despairs at her present predicament. Heavens forfend! To think this would happen in my kitchen. The nerve. Oh, you there. Yes, you. You've the look of a woman who knows what she's about, and I'm in desperate need of one such as you. Picked myself a bushel of miracle economics apples, but wouldn't you know, some nasty manticore swiped those red beauties from under my nose. Not sure how they got there in the first place, but that's beside the point. I could well try to steal them back myself, but goodness knows how many hours it would be before I stumbled upon that blasted bandit. I'm only one woman. I can't cover all that ground by myself, so be a friend and help me get my apples back, wouldn't you? I just knew you'd oblige me. Now then, let's talk strategy. I'll scour the area just south of here, you take the north. Deal? Mandragoras bury themselves in dirt to hide, so if you see one of their bulbous heads poking out of the soil, hit them with one of these malodorous bombs. They'll be so surprised to get a face full of stink, they'll leap out and leave behind my apples. The thief will probably take off running, but let them go, I just want my pilfer's boot returned. Besides, mandragora carcass isn't on the menu tonight. Right then, I'll leave you to your search. Happy hunting. Ananshina is champing at the bit to extol the wonders of Scatini. A moment, if I may. Have you heard of the winged familiars known as the Scatini? They've a marked talent for seeing in the dark, which has established them as the chosen watchbirds for some of the most important facilities. As it so happens, we in Labyrinthos avail ourselves in their astonishing eyesight too. Day and night our Scatinis keep close watch for any blackguards or nasty goings-on. However, such keenness of eyesight requires, for lack of a better term, upkeep, which comes in the form of special eye drops. After all, what creature can sit unblinking and wide-eyed for days on end without help? So, might I ask you to dole out said medication? How good of you to be so obliging. The Scatinis are perceptive creatures in both sight and mind, and will take to you instantly once they know you've experience in caring for even one of their kind. That is why I recommend all those who deal with things of a confidential nature to try their hand at treating the beady eyes of our vigilant familiars at least once. Near the northmost entrance you'll find the Scatini's caretaker. She'll only be too glad to introduce you to her faithful watch owls. The Scatinis are keen of both vision and mind, and will warm to you once they know you can be trusted. If they mistake you for some common criminal, however, the consequences will be dire indeed. If you're lucky though, they'll just peck out your eyes. A rather determined bibliotech seeks help with an issue of scholastic nature. You there, adventurer! You have the carriage of a woman upon whose name I might prevail. Those books there, you see them, yes? I would have you bear them to one of the students of Valdesium for me. Leave it to me. Oh, that was a deal easier than expected. I'd have thought this would require some explanation. Which you shall have regardless. I'm a member of a prominent political faction known as the Bibliotheques. I trust you've heard of us. I and my colleagues are sworn to bear silent witness to the affairs of our world, recording all which comes to pass. The students of Valdesium, on the other hand, take a much more active approach to the affairs of our world. Needless to say, things between us are tense. It would spell trouble were I to be found delivering these tomes myself. My colleagues may well bar me from the archives entire, a punishment worse than death. Thus I seek aid from one who can pass unnoticed. You. Right then. Have a care and bring these to my Baldessian co-conspirator. You'll find her in Logisticon Alpha. Oh, and tell her it's a gift from a friendly researcher in Charlene Hamlet, will you? I fear the punishment that may befall me were to be caught smuggling such materials to one who is ostensibly our enemy. Luckily, you have no such concerns, which makes you the right woman for the job. It's amazing how well I can carry these books. And of course I can't just put them on the ground, because then they'd disappear. My word, look at all of this. Each book more valuable than the last. How in the world did you come by them? Given to you by a researcher in Charlene Hamlet, you say? A meant a gift for me? My mysterious benefactor is gracious indeed. Is it comforting to know that at least one person out there values our efforts in an ever-changing world? Do give my thanks to this charitable researcher next time you see them. The students of Baldessian want only to keep our star safe from that which threatens it. You would think this a noble cause, but some find us to be importune, that we should mind our own business. Honestly, these people, if the world is gone, they'll have nothing to record. Ah, you've returned, and without the books with which you departed, I assume that to mean they were delivered into the right hands? Thank you. As I mentioned before, we bibliotheques keep to the wings of history's stage, and I take a fierce stance against any sort of involvement. We've a sworn duty to observe all which transpires, even if this world unravels before our very eyes. So dedicated are we to our goal, there is no realm in which we are not present. I too was stationed abroad, in the Far East actually. It is where I caught wind of the students of Baldessian, learned how they had become a symbol of hope for those fearing the final days. Savastri tells us the knowledge is a gift, one that cannot be bestowed upon just anyone. It is only the worthy who ought to wield the strength it provides. And I believe the students of Baldessian worthy. If there is any justice left in this world, then that which our pens and papers have locked away is theirs by rights. Thank you for helping me put the fruits of our labour to good use. Philippine is chuffed you're helping him. I'm ready to go if you are. Oh, I suppose I should tell you a bit about the artificial sun first. It's got an engine called a reactor that burns with fire ether. My theory is that the reactor has too much ether now, and that's what's changed its colour. Ergo, we should go to Phobius. I know someone who works there helping to control the artificial sun. I bet he'll let us have a look around. It's in the medical circuit, so we should head for Logiskin Alpha first. Follow me so you don't get lost. Jessamy wishes to bend the ear of any man, woman or child willing to listen. Where could it have gone? What a bother this is. If only I could find someone who... Oh! Fortune is on my side indeed. You seem the doughty sort. Might you help me locate a missing mammoth? A colleague has reported that one has escaped and gone on a rampage. It was last sighted wandering southeast of here, where it has slain one of the specimens. We've tried to deactivate the mammoth remotely, but it has outright ignored our commands. Now our only recourse is to stop that woeful thing by force. Perhaps you could do the honours. If you're up for it, I'll need you to locate it and put it out of commission. Once that pugnacious poppet has been silenced, place it in this coffer and return it to me. So, will you help? Fantastic! I knew you were the type to say no to a man indeed. Find the corpse of the fiend it fought, and you're likely to come across that directionless stall. According to the report, it was powerful enough to defeat the creature, though that does not bode well for us. We've been left to finish the job. The wandering loppeat is looking for work. Haven't we met before? You're one of Urianji's friends, right? Yes? Ah, I thought so. I'm here wandering around Rabimithos, hoping to find some work to do. Sounds like so much fun. But I don't even know where to start or how to ask for it. Can you help me? Of course. Oh then, what are we waiting for? Let's find someone with work for me. Should you choose to undertake this quest, you will receive no guidance from the journal or the duty list. You will need to read the text carefully and decipher the clues to determine your next course of action. Let's come back to that one later. A researcher in Charlian Hamlet has a furiously furrowed brow. May I borrow you for a moment? I have a problem of a marital nature, shall we say. You see, my husband was looking rather green around the gills when he left for work this morning. As much as I would like to check on him myself, I'm afraid my research of such import that I can't leave it unattended for any amount of time. which is why I must ask you to look in on him in my stead. You're likely to find my darling slaving away in Cockle's forge. If he hasn't been carted off to the infirmary yet, that is. He's a rather handsome man, whose garish red glasses make him hard to miss. Should you notice he's under the weather, I ask that you provide him with this filter, which will hopefully revitalise him. I'm sorry to lay such a burden on you, but I've no one else to whom I can entrust this. Please, Harry, as I feel he'll keel over before long. My poor bespectacled fool of a husband. Why would he even so much as think to work when he's clearly out of sorts? I only hope the filter I made will be enough to cure him of what ails him. The jeweler seeks those in possession of both a green thumb and a penchant for punishing plants. Oh my! The ways of Thalic are mysterious as they are providential. To think that a woman so robust as you would appear before me in my hour of need. If this is not divine intervention, I do not know what is. I face a trial for which I am not equal, nor shall I ever be. It involves the capture of my most feared nemesis. Tomatoes. You see, I can barely speak the vile beast's name without my gorge rising. You would well consider my offer. Truly, I have money set aside, quite a bit of it in fact. All you need to do is capture one of those vile vegetables. You'll find them in Miracle and Ergonomics, and they're quite hard to miss, disgusting things that they are. This is a task I will never be able to complete on my own. Of that much I can assure you. Even the thought of touching one of those nasty little things makes me... But please, hurry. The sooner this business is behind me, the better. A vexed researcher in Charlene Hamlet wishes there were more hours in the day. Oh my, a conundrum indeed. What am I to do? Is something the matter? Well, aren't you a kind sort taking an interest in a stranger's woes? It's my son, you see. He's a gleaner stationed near the East End, and he's recently returned to deliver his procurements. I just received word from him a moment ago, asking me to meet him in the Archeon. Apparently, he has some sort of gift for me. Is that not thoughtful? In a stroke of ill luck, however, something urgent has come up, which I'm obliged to attend to. By the time I'm done with my business, I've little doubt that my darling boy will be already gone. Off to his next assignment, to who knows where. So, you see I am in a pickle, surely. As much as I want to, I can't claim the gift myself, but perhaps you could in my stead. If you've time on your hands, that is. You do? Why, thank you. I will return as soon as I'm able, so let us meet here once you have taken receipt of the present. The reactor operator is wearing a most impatient look. Excuse me, but can I trouble you for a moment? I'm looking for someone, you see, and I was hoping you might help. I was due to receive a pair of beasts captured in St. Mockham's Arbitorium, but the gleaner who's meant to make the delivery has yet to appear, and I've grown rather tired of waiting. I tried reaching him via link pearl, but to no avail. I'm tempted to go out and search for him myself, but what if he arrives and I'm not here? So, would you be willing to find said gleaner for me? Thank you. He ought to be relatively easy to spot, I should think, considering he's travelled with 2 mud-covered seedkin. Search west of here first. I'll check around here just to make sure he's not rounding the corner or some such. Should you find him before I do, hurry back here, will you? Thank goodness you're here. Professor caught me by surprise, gave me a nasty shock. But what are you doing all the way out here? Ah, of course. I suppose all this waiting would make someone rather nervous. I'll give my apologies to the operator when I deliver these specimens. As for the specimens themselves, well, let's just say I'm rather surprised they're still in one piece, despite being bathed in lightning. The Earth alignment probably saved them, come to think of it. At any rate, thank you, kind stranger. Doubt I'd be among the living if it were not for your aid. Right then, I'd better get going. Don't want to keep the operator waiting for any longer than he already has. Is there something I can help you and your friend with? I'd heard the operators were interested in learning about our culture, and you're saying this one is looking for a job? Yes, I would like to work at a job. Do you know of one I could do? Well, most people here work at Aporia or Thumazin, but we would need to submit documents to request the proper level of clearance, and... Oh, I have an idea. As you've seen, the man-made habitats thereabouts are populated by a variety of experimental subjects. Some of the bolder beasts, however, have been known to cause unfortunate incidents in and around the elemental reactors. In order to encourage these creatures to keep their distance, we've put together some bags of noxious smelling repellent. I'd appreciate it if you could place a few of them by the reactors themselves. For now, I need you to ward 2 such facilities, the one to the south and the one to the west of Logic and Beta. Here, there's an armful for each of you, so you can split the work. Oh, I'm sorry for making you work too, but that means we can share the payment as well. Right, I'll go to the south reactor and you take the one in the west. Work, work, work. Go ahead and place a few of those bags by the reactor west of Logic and Beta. what the love tweet had to say. Perhaps this person can help us. Made of thick, sturdy materials, bag muffles all sounds, including the horrific screams of captured vegetables. Convenient. One can only speculate what's inside this bottle-shaped package. This experimental concoction is meant to incinerate even the hardest of seed casings, meant to bring the operative phase. This smells about as terrible as you might imagine, perhaps worse. This unique case is designed specifically for the capture of rogue dolls, which just so happen to be sentient. Its specificity has meant it has been long sitting unused, gathering dust. Monsters are driven away from the pungent smell wafting from this noxious mixture. You can feel how sentient tomato struggles to escape its confines. Luckily this sack muffles its piercing screams. The horrid stench of this no doubt potent potion is enough to burn one's nose hairs clean off. Hold a moment, I know you. Yes, you're Elita, the famous adventurer, are you not? To what do I owe the honour? Oh, my mother is busy, you say? That is most disheartening to hear. I wanted to tell her in person that she is now a grandmother, newly made. My wife was born as a healthy baby. I'd written to share news that we were expecting, but not that she had given birth. I had hoped to see the look on my mother's face when I told her of the happy event. It's quite all right. No, honestly, it is. She works tirelessly for the good of all. I can hardly blame her for being unable to come running at a moment's notice. It makes me proud, in fact, to think that she is so important that she cannot even spare a moment to see me. Hopefully she can spare a moment for this, though. Will you give this portrait to her? It's of me, my wife, and our newborn, her grandchild. Now then, I must be off. There is work to be done, and I'm sure my mother will be proud to know her son is following in her hard-working footsteps. The gobsmacked garlic is so affronted by your pestering, it's fled. It does not appear to be the culprit you are after. The offended onion takes no leave of you as it darts off. It does not appear to be the culprit you are after. The quizzical queen up and flees in a flustered state, leaving behind apples. It would appear that this knavish mandragora was behind the fruit napping. Apples the size so gargantuan, you find your gorge rising a little. A shame, since apples are rather innocuous fruit, really. Hello, it's you, the one and only Elita. Am I dreaming? A delivery for me? But why would someone as famous and important as you be delivering my package? Oh, now I'm just being rude. I must thank you properly. If only I had known you'd be coming, I would have prepared something for you. Silly me, there's something for you right here. This package contains a bottle of golden syrup. It's yours if you want it. It's an alchemical medicine to rejuvenate the wearied body. You must need something like that after running around saving the entire world. I won't hear no for an answer, so drink it down. You deserve it far more than I do. Please drink the syrup before you go. I'll never forgive myself if this delivery contributed to your exhaustion. Medicine meant to revitalize the exhausted. The medicine is much sweeter than you were expecting. It's delicious. I'm glad. I hope it nourishes your body along with pleasing your palate. That reminds me, I had your comrade Graha try some as well. He seemed to quite enjoy it, said it was like drinking sweet ambrosia. I couldn't help but wonder what sort of medicine had been forced to drink before. Anyway, I'm afraid that's all I have to offer you. I swear, if Quisillin doesn't compensate you properly, I just might, well, never mind that. Please take proper care of yourself out there. Make sure Colosseum pays you properly. This coffer has at long last fulfilled its purpose by capturing a mammoth. If our box could have feelings, this one would be proud. Oh dear. Perhaps going into work was not the best decision, after all. The man is in very poor health indeed and requires medicine you provided. Oh my, that's much better. Thank you kindly, stranger. A weakness came over me quite suddenly, no doubt caused by a thinning of blood or some such. That medicine of my wife's creations, is it not? I would know her alchemy anywhere. That must mean she enlisted your help to see it brought to me, then, yes? I thought as much. So little gets past my better half, though. I did my best to hide the fatigue. I myself am a researcher in Thamazuyan. Ah, that interests you, does it? Well then, you'll get a kick out of this. We are currently developing a new sort of alloy, which, at the molecular level, contains psychosensitive material such as dark matter. The wonders we could work with such a marvelous metal. Imagine how much tighter controls could become if we were to fit it into a cockpit. But I'm getting ahead of myself. At any rate, our work is reaching a crescendo, and I wouldn't dare miss even so much as a day of it. Would you be so kind as to tell my wife there is no cause for concern? All she need know is that her filter worked wonders. They don't usually let me into the medial circuit, but having you here changes everything. Hello again, Verapane. You and your friend are free to go through. You have my thanks. It's so tiresome having your freedoms limited because of your age. Anyway, let's make our way to Phobios. I'm all done. Would you mind making a report to our employer? Thank you both for your cooperation. I'll hand the payment of our lunar friend here, so she might have the full job experience. Oh, and I'll throw in some apples from Mirror Agronomics too. Enjoy. Oh, a new food to try. Let's head back up the stairs and eat them together. You're the one who's come about the eye drops then. Heard all about today's exercise from Anaja? Called me via link pearl, you see. I told this old bird what's about to transpire, but she still seemed a bit on her guard. It might be best to calm her down yourself. If you pet her gently, that ought to unruffle her feathers, figuratively and literally. These creatures do love to be petted. Surprising, I know, given the look of them. Scuffing on duty eyes you warily. Perhaps you should pet her before she gets peckish. The vigilant Scatine continues her unwavering stare, but there's now a great less anxiety in her eyes than before. I think our friend here has realised you're no threat at all. Go on then, she's ready for the eye drops whenever you are. There's nothing to worry about, our Scatine here will be amenable for a few drops of that medicine you brought along. The Scatine watches you closely. Now is your chance to administer the eye drops. Concocted to soothe the Scatine's unblinking eyes, which can get terribly dry from the glaring menace that pass her by. Why, she looks about ready to snuggle up to you. I'd say Scatines have a mind like a steel trap, and don't forget a face easily, so it's no problem if you were to walk past them in completely different clothes. It takes more than a costume change to fool them after all. If you don't mind my asking, you're friends with a dragoon, right? Surly looking elven fellow as I remember? I'm afraid the Scatines didn't take kindly to him. Damn near pecked his eyes out. This poor bird almost got a lance in her gullet for it. Luckily your companion stopped himself when he did, but that doesn't mean the Scatine is going to let bygones be bygones anytime soon. Let me tell you. Bit of advice, he ought to watch himself if he's walking through these parts. In any case, your work is done here. This Scatine's had her treatment, so go and tell Anaja as much. Good luck out there. Oh, and should you happen to see another Scatine while you're out and about, give him a wave, alright? There you are. I was wondering when I would see you again. The Gleaner told me everything that happened, how you got him out of a tight spot. He seems to have escaped largely unscathed, but the Shikargans are giving him a thorough inspection just in case. You may not know this, but they're actually a variety of cockapur. Only these happen to be smeared in a unique type of mud originating from the Arbitorium. Judging by the look on your face, you already know of these species, don't you? Yes, something tells me you're already quite intimate with the Arbitorium. Isn't it just a wonderful place? You must be wondering why I required these muddy little things. I only had a theory that their earth alignment would prove to be of use in the amplification of said element. I had not expected such an unfortunate accident would come of my curiosity, though. Well, we're none of us the worse for wear, so perhaps that's not that unfortunate. The Gleaner's still alive and kicking, and the samples made it safely here, all thanks to you, of course. So, all's well that ends well, yes? What fortuitous timing. I've only just arrived myself. So, what news from my son? What was it that he was so eager to give me? A skillfully painted portrait of a smiling man and a wife cradling their newborn babe, perfect for grandmothers. Is this? Oh goodness! It is, isn't it? It's a portrait of his family and it includes my grandchild. Oh, how cherubic and darling. There's no baby more beautiful in all the world. And you and yours have given me this bundle of joy, a chance to grow up happy and hale. Perhaps I'll go see their family once my research has slowed a bit. That'd be nice, would it not? You've made me happier than you could possibly know. Thank you truly. It isn't much, I grant you, but... Here, something for your pains. All finished then. She works herself too hard, that one, see. The medicine I sent should be good for her. Though I must say you're looking rather more chipper than when you left. What? She gave the syrup to you. Well, if that cheered her up, I suppose that's as good as any medicine. In any case, here's a little something as thanks for your help. It's good to see you safe, Elita. May you find respite you so richly deserve here. Why not a scratch on you? I take this to mean my serum did its job then. It most certainly did. Is that so? Goodness, my genius is rather startling, isn't it? That was a tincture most hastily thrown together. Never a thought was put into it. At any rate, I thank you for your services rendered. Here, for your troubles. Well then, I must return to my pondering. These theories of mine won't hypnotize themselves. You've succeeded in your mission with great aplomb. I thank you wholeheartedly, for without this star, where would I conduct my research? Ah, there you are. I've come up empty-handed. Sad as that is to admit, how did you fare? Were you able to recover the apples? You were? Oh my, I can't thank you enough. Goodness me. Now that I've a proper look at them, they're rather enormous, aren't they? Funny how I didn't see that before. Labyrinthos, as you've surely noticed, is entirely man-made, and our continued prosperity is thanks in part to the elemental reactor and false sun. Though, if truth be told, those two things are likely to be to blame for our oversized fruit. Word is there's a research afoot to see if the above ground and orchards could produce something of a similar size as well. Given what little we know, though, I'm sure that day's quite a long way off. Oh, begging your pardon, here I am talking your ear off, when I'm sure you have better things to be getting on with. Heavens no, I certainly do. Apple pies don't bake themselves now, do they? Thank you again for your help. You've returned. Very good. Judging by the lack of scratch marks, you were successful in completing your task. No doubt the Scatinis now know to treat you as a friend rather than a foe. The Scatinis do not stay long in any given location, but rather fly through Labyrinthos, moving from perch to perch. Should you happen to see one, count yourself fortunate. They can be a rare sight. Though you may think them difficult to spot, trust that they are among us. They are watching always, ensuring that the knowledge we require is kept us from falling into the hands of those who use it for nefarious ends. What an inspiration you are, to travel through the cosmos as you have. Tell me of your adventures when you have the time, yes? Well, were you able to capture one of those terrible tomatoes? Please don't throw up when I give this to you. But pardon me, even in the sack I cannot stomach the wretches, but better in and out, I suppose. At least it won't get its disastrous painful juices into anyone's eyes. You must be curious as to why tomatoes maddened into violence were running amok. Well, the truth is, a gleaner had sowed a congeries of vegetable seeds to cultivate on the plantation, and a few of these vermin managed to slip in unnoticed. The soil was exceptionally fertile by the looks of it, because the creatures proliferated with alarming ease, more so than anyone could have possibly guessed. And to provide this tale with even a stranger twist, the juices they squirted into my eyes had a salubrious effect. I no longer have need of my glasses, and I can see with perfect clarity now, though I was in a great deal of pain, mind you. Well, when life gives you tomatoes, make I juice? No, that hasn't a very pithy ring to it at all. At any rate, your services have been most helpful. I will begin my research as soon as I am back in the laboratory. Ah, and before I forget, your reward. I intend to give a lecture regarding the similarities between the Lopperete's ears and mine. No, I'm not joking. I'm perfectly serious. Why? You spoke with my husband, didn't you? How was he? Was he as unwell as I feared? He was in terrible health, as you suspected. I just knew it. What was that man thinking? To fight through such illness. Also he can, what, go to work? Honestly. It's all well and good to wholly commit oneself to one's profession, but to do so at the expense of one's health, that's beyond the pale. He'll be getting an earful from me, that much I can assure you. I shudder to think what would have become of my husband had you not stepped in when you did. Though it's a trifle compared to what you deserve, I offer you this, to thank you for your help. Time to munch on these apples. They look delicious, don't they? Oh my, they don't just look delicious, they are delicious. They might even be better than carrots. I thought this place would be just like Maryland Turn, since it's all artificial, but I'm glad I was wrong. I was wrong about a lot, even after everything Urianger told me to expect. And I learned so much at my job. I think I want to try another one. Oh, before I forget, here's your share of our payment. Thank you all for your help. Were you able to retrieve our little runaway and shove him into that container? I am ready to take it off your hands whenever you are willing to part with it, though I'm not sure why you would want to hang on to it for longer than necessary. Goodness, you've done it! I can't thank you enough, truly. Not sure what I would have done with it had you not come along. This mammoth's unfortunate escape is the work of the Lopperetes, you know. They meant no harm, I'm sure, but they insisted on tinkering with the thing's innards, wanted to make some improvements, apparently. And as you can see, their earnest meddling has caused us a great deal of grief. To be fair, they did look rather contrite when I told them what had transpired. I can't stay angry at them though. They had only the best intentions. In fact, they need some cheering up after that tongue lashing I gave them. Yes, they deserve the thickest, crunchiest carrots I can find. And on that note, farewell, adventurer, and thank you. Now things have settled, I would so like to become better acquainted with the Lopreets. They've such a way with technology. Oh, hello. Are you here to have a look around? I must emphasize that touching the buttons within, however tempting, is not permitted. He said I can go and have a look. Wait here. I'll let you know if I find anything. Well, he showed me the control panel, but there didn't seem to be anything wrong. The reactor's records didn't contain anything worth noting either. That's what you were worried about? Eh? You do realize this place has been around as long as Labyrinthos, and we've never had a single problem. Nor have been able to confirm this change in the light's hue you speak of. Are you certain you didn't just stare at the sun too long? We advise against that for a reason, you know. They can talk it down to me all they want, but I know what I saw. If there's nothing wrong here, then it simply means the root of the problem lies elsewhere. Let's go. Veriplan is in deep thought. Thank you for sticking around. It's nice to be believed for once. Now that the problem doesn't lie here, we should move on. Let's take a look at the supply route the fire aspect ether travels along, from the elemental reactor to the artificial sun. I learned a while ago that the sun automatically goes into overdrive to maintain its brightness, if it gets less fire ether than it needs. If that's what's happening, then there must be a problem with the reactor's ether supply. To know for sure, we'll need to check the flow of ether to see if there are any spots where it's abnormally weak. To do that, though, we need an etherometer. Maybe we can borrow one from Nurgle Ergonomics. Then we don't have to go out of our way. See, I fed them a lie about helping them with some research and they lent me an etherometer. Come on, let's see if we can pick up any abnormal readings. Just as I thought, the concentration of fire ether is too low. They seem to be weakest at an area south of here. That must be where the problem lies. You can tell that all that just from the etherometer? Well, when you've got a father who's an expert in etherology and a mother who's a mathematician, you learn a thing or two. What's more, I was born and raised here. It would be embarrassing if I didn't know better than everyone else. Now, let's get to the bottom of this. I've identified the problem. There's an Anala here. They're normally only found near the elemental reactor. I can't say for sure if it came here on purpose or simply got lost, but either way it's clearly been feeding on fire-aspected ether. Most of the ether travels deep underground on its way from the reactor, but the supply route is the closest to the surface here. I imagine the Anala must be pretty powerful at this point. If it's been here absorbing all that ether, no doubt its core is full of it. If I can just get my hands on that core, I could use it to convince the adults that I was right all along. Do you think you can slay it for me? It's a good thing I brought you along. Mother always says, I'm a reader, not a fighter. A cord brutally ripped out of an Anala. Nicely done. Can you show me the core? So this is what an abundance of ether can do to their cores. It's massive. Father and the others will have no choice but to believe me when they see this. Verapalion is ready to prove he is in the right. Come on, let's waste no time in showing this to Father. It's time he acknowledged that I'm right. So, this is where you've been hiding. Father, fancy seeing you here. I was about to come home and tell you that I found the problem with the sun. Are you still harping on about that? You could have got yourself pursuing this nonsense. And you, I told you to bring my son back to me, and instead you go off gallivanting with him. We've got proof that all is not well. Fine. I shall hear what you have to say. Oh my. I have never seen a core like this in my life. I see no reason to doubt your suggestion that it was feeding on the fire aspected ether. So, you finally admit that I was right about the sun? Oh yes. However, that matters not, now that I know how serious the situation is. What do you mean? Elita's already slain the Anala. Surely everything will go back to normal now. I'm afraid not. If the artificial sun was under such strain for a prolonged period of time, it could be on the verge of combusting by now. We'll need to cool it post-haste. Alas, this requires multiple soma cores. The constructs can be found by Coco's Forge. Please, we've no time to waste. You must retrieve 2 cores for me. We'll begin the process at Phobios. Find us there when you have the cores in hand. colorful, just ice aspects either. To top up your timer. Right, go. Onward! Ooh. There's a few people here. My son has told me all about how you helped him. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You've got the cores. Pray give them to my father. To think all this was happening right under our noses. Did you manage to procure the cores? Splendid. Then let us save our son. Alright, I think we can finally relax. The artificial sun is stable once more. Clearly we're so enveloped in our own research that we neglected to keep an eye on the systems that allow us to live down here in the first place. I shudder to think what could have befallen us had you and my son not taken action. You have my thanks for saving us from disaster. And I owe you something else, my son. An apology. I was a fool to ignore your warnings simply because of your age. It's fine, Father, really. In that case, might you be interested in helping find potential improvements for the systems that govern our sun? Of course. I can think of several already. Elita, I want to thank you properly for being so helpful. Could you come and visit me again in Shirley and Hamlet? Thank you again. Here is your reward. It's my pocket money, with an additional something from my parents. I was so happy that you listened to me and decided to trust my knowledge. I hope our paths cross again when I become a researcher in my own right. I'll make sure to make you proud. Verapalune has something to ask of you once more. Hello again. Thanks for once more for your help in sorting the sun. I've actually got something else to ask if you're willing to hear me out. It concerns a new friend of mine, a young troll that I found wandering around these parts recently. Obviously he's not capable of speech, but he can clearly understand me when I talk to him. You do believe me, right? Oh, that's Shaggles. What a peculiar name. Well, that makes explaining the situation much easier. I last saw him by all Logistic and Alpha. Let's go see if he's still there. This is my new friend. I've been searching all over for you know. Since we last met, I decided to use my magics to improve my vocalization. To that, I've read my fair share of tomes on the subject. It seems your kind are capable of making your vocal cords vibrate, thanks to your ability to breathe through your mouths. Alas, we trolls are incapable of doing so. However, I managed to adapt a wind-aspected spell to enable me to communicate properly. Not that there's anything wrong with my nasal gurrs, mind you. I'm not gifted enough to activate the spell on my own, so I set out in search of you once I found more. It was then I bumped into this clever child. What happened to Elita? He wouldn't have been any help, so I left without him. Clearly I made the right choice. While I might not be able to speak with this boy, he still managed to bring you to me. You can understand what he's saying? Simply amazing. I knew he had to have some way of communicating. I gather he knows a thing or two about ether as well. Would you mind telling him what I told you? Pretty girl. So that's what he'd be trying to tell me about. Of course, I'll do my best to try to help. The wind-aspected ether vented by the earthen reactor ought to help. If we fiddle with the reactor's settings a bit, we should even be able to create our own blustery vortex of the stuff. That should be all you need to cast your spell. See, I've got an eye for people. Now, take me to this reactor. Right this way. splendid boy he is. I look forward to discussing all kinds of things with him once I'm able to talk. I'll be back in a bit. I just need to go tinker with the reactor settings. I learned all about this when I was coming up with ways to better the systems for artificial sun. All done. I think our wind-aspected ether vortex should pop up somewhere to the west. Keep your wits about you. There's every chance that the high concentration of ether will attract fiends. We don't have any means of protecting ourselves, so we'll need your help. Let us know when you're ready. We don't have any means of so when you're help, let us know when you're ready. Westward, grrr! Shackles and Verpine are in your company. Keep them at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. Once I'm able to talk, I'm gonna have so many things to complain about to Naraltia. What should I ask Shackles first once he is able to talk? Look at that party. Now that we've found the current, we simply need to let Shaggles take care of the rest. Wind aspected ether swirls before you. So, this is it, eh? Let me give it a go then. Can you hear me? Brilliant! I can finally talk! How wonderful! There's so much I want to talk to you about. Oh, Father, what brings you here? Well, if it isn't my favorite buffoon. How'd you know I'd be here? You can speak? Oh, even your voice is adorable. A pleasure to see you again. I was just looking for my boy. I have something of great importance to impart upon him. It's a pleasure for me as well. I've been waiting to speak with Shaggles myself, and now he can reply. In that case, why don't you all join me at the Charlene Hamlet? There's someone I'd like you all to meet. Just about there. It's lovely that Shackles can talk, but I do wish he'd stop mocking me. Here I am, finally able to talk, and people instantly decide they have more important things to share. Urgh. Sounds like you've helped my son yet again. You have my thanks. Thank you so much for always looking after our son. So, that's the troll and the boy I've heard so much about. So, what's all this about? Alas, that is not for me to explain. We have someone here from the studio who will do the honors instead. That would be me. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I come bearing a message for you from the Scholararch himself. You mean myself and Velabrune? Correct. Master Velabrune and Master Shaggles, was it? Ahem. Would you two perchance be interested in pursuing an education at the studium? Word of your recent accomplishments has reached us, and we are all most impressed by your abilities. It would be our honour to welcome you to our institution to help nurture your talents, while providing you with ample opportunities to learn. I can hardly believe my ears. But I'm not about to turn down the chance of a lifetime. Of course I'll enroll. What's the matter, Velabrune? You've more than proved yourself ready to face greater intellectual challenges. To leave Labyrinthus and expand your horizons. It's just that Labyrinthus is all I've ever known. How can I be sure I'll succeed out there? I know a pair that entered the studium at 11. Thank you for trying to reassure me, only I won't know anyone there, and... what are you talking about? You know me, don't you? Don't tell me you plan to spend your whole life in this fishbowl. There's a whole world out there to explore. Says the troll, who never left Labyrinthus either. Silence, buffoon! Alright, you've convinced me. I'll go. Splendid. Now, there are just a few sheaves of paperwork to take care of, so I'll need to borrow your guardians for a bit. None of this would have happened if we hadn't met, would it? I never would have gotten this opportunity, or made such wonderful new friends without you. Thank you. I really mean it. Farewell. Alright, just one more quest here. A studium researcher looks in need of assistance. Excuse me there, you look capable. Could you find a missing carbuncle for me? Ordinarily, a carbuncle would never be without an arcanist, but this one was found alone, roaming the wilds of Lenoska. And so I had it sent here for research purposes. I swear I took in my eye out for barely a moment, and it scrambled off somewhere outside the hamlet. Seeing as it's far too dangerous out there for someone in my disposition, I was hoping you could look for it in my stead. You have my thanks. I don't think it could have made it out of the central circuit, but that still leaves a wide area to search. This guiding crystal should make the job a bit easier. It will react to when the carbuncle is near, glowing more brightly the closer you are to your quarry. Once you've secured the entity, please bring it back to me. I wish you fortune in your hunt. The guiding crystal should help you track down the carbuncle. Be safe and good luck. The crystal reacts in the presence of gem-based arcane entities. carbuncle peers at you anxiously, not letting its guard down. Perhaps it would let you pick it up if you soothe it first. Where's that soothe emote? There it is. The carbuncle visibly calms, allowing you to cradle it in your arms. Said to have been found roaming alone in the wilds, this carbuncle looks oddly familiar. Did you find the carbuncle? Thank goodness. Or rather, thank you. As I said, they found the poor thing alone in the countryside, wandering the mountains of northern Lunosia. I believe it should have vanished as soon as its master dismissed it, although it's possible the command was never given. In which case, it should theoretically persist until the ether that forms it is consumed. But for that reserve to last long enough for the entity to grow wild, an immensely talented arcanist must have summoned it. What I wouldn't give to meet someone that powerful. Researching this little creature should net me some fascinating data indeed. Thank you again for retrieving it for me. And that is all the quests done here. Let's go to Old Shoreline, see if anything else popped up. Nope, all is well here. I'm actually going to stop there for now. Probably going to start off with Redwood next. I have some side quests here. I don't think I've got anything in Fafnir. I'll just double check. All the quests are gone from there yet. Right, so the only two places I have is Redwood and Alpes left to do. Unless anything else has popped up at Ultima Thule. So I reckon if anything's going to pop up there, it'll be after I do everything else. Anyway, I'm gonna head off for now. Love you all. Take care, my beloved darlings. And I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.